I just want to play a very brief piece of video because this kind of gets to why the Democrats are so afraid of the prospect of actually having to win the election without disqualifying Donald Trump. Here's a Morning Joe segment. This is a sort of Hollywood Squares layout they got going here. Draw your eyes to the guy in the bottom right-hand corner. He's the one running his mouth.
It's like a 50-50 shot. And, you know, maybe things will be a little bit better than that. Maybe we'll get all the way to 55-45 by November. You know, your lips to God's ears. But it's really disconcerting. So people think, well, there has to be something better. And there isn't. This is it. Joe Biden is the nominee, and you're going to learn to love it, America.
Jonathan, I couldn't agree. I couldn't agree with you more.
Not so funny now, is it? Not so funny now, is it, that you're actually going to have to beat Donald Trump on Election Day? This is why they are as paralyzed as they are. Because when they say you're going to have to learn to love it, they don't just mean that you're stuck with this doddering old man with no charisma who can't finish a thought. They mean this is as good as America can be. That's been their message since Biden took office. That's why the Build Back Better negotiations, if you want to call them that, because Jayapal was just bullshitting us the whole time with the holdout for the good deal, don't pass the bad deal along with the good deal. That's why MSNBC was praising Manchin and the soon-to-be retiring Kristen Sinema throughout those exchanges, because they understand that there's only so far progress can go. And they understand this is the end of the line. That's why the quote-unquote extremists are always likely to win in the end, because what you call extremists, they would call ambitious. They would say they're forward-thinking. They actually have momentum behind their ideas. They actually want to do something. You don't have to like what they want to do, but they actually have direction. They have political momentum. You can't beat momentum with stasis, which is what the liberals are trying to do.
America is already great.
Exactly. America's already great. That's their ethos. And that is never going to win in the end against candidates who represent some aspirational vision. You can only counter aspiration with your own aspiration. That's why the counter to Donald Trump in 2016 was Sanders, if they wanted to win, because that represented another aspirational vision. Now they're saying, well, this is it, America. This is what we got. Austerity, censorship, and genocide. That's the program. Can't do much about it. So it's either that or you lose your democracy, even though we're the party that just was totally unanimously rebuked at the Supreme Court for illegally trying to remove our competition from the ballot. That's how absurd their case is. That's what they're left with right now.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw. I dropped a little video today walking around New Orleans, and I lamenting the monoculture of the upper classes that has come to take over every place in America that's urban. You know, every urban place in America is the same fucking place now. It's got Whole Foods. It's got a fucking Pliable place. It's the same shit everywhere you go. Really, everywhere you go. Even New Orleans has been overrun by this. Those are the people who they want, and those are the only people they want. People outside of that are an inconvenience. They only want these very shallow consumerist voters who are just gonna get on board with that whole program, right? Just work, make money, consume, have the right opinions, buy the right products, keep their opinions within these lines. Trump represents the horror of everyone who's been left out of that vision. Exactly. And that's most people.
Yes.
I mean, if more of those people voted, it wouldn't even be a question. But too many of them are voting, and that's why they've become so anti-democratic. That's why I almost want to read this book, because I'm very curious how they came to the conclusion, how they did these studies, that white rural voters are the most hostile to democracy, because I've seen studies saying that centrist voters are actually the most hostile to democracy.
Yes. Yes. Well, you wrote a whole article about that way back when. It was the first one of the first ones you ever did.
Way back, yeah.
Way back.
We should reprint that now.
We should. Maybe we should republish that. That would be worth a revisit, I think, for sure.
Please clap.